hey, make sure you stay tuned to CCG TV. We have an outstanding show for you all. Have a lot for you to learn and something for you to do. Welcome to CCG TV, the Keep Columbus Beautiful Earth Notes. I'm Gloria Weston Smart, the immediate past executive director for Keep Columbus Beautiful. And I told you earlier that we have a wonderful show for you, and we absolutely do. I have two wonderful guests. We're going to talk about some things and have a little fun. And then we're going to make sure that you know how you can be engaged in doing some things to help keep Columbus beautiful. Because as you know, our mission is to engage and educate individuals to be better stewards to our environment. And we can't do it without you. So make sure that you stay tuned. It's just going to be a great show today. My very first guest is the new director for Keep Columbus Beautiful, Sharnae Johnson. And thank you so much for being here on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Great. And then I know you all know William Kent. He has been a part of Keep Columbus Beautiful since before I actually started in 1999. William Kent with Columbus Waterworks. Thank you, William, for being here.
Well, that just made me feel old.
Well, you know, sometimes reality just comes.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's great to be here with you one more time. So
Great. So what I'd like to do is to have Sharnae to introduce herself and maybe some of the things that she would like to do as the new director for Keep Columbus Beautiful.
Of course. Again, I'm Sharnae Johnson. Just very excited to be a part of Keep Columbus Beautiful, as it's been a journey for quite a while. So my excitement is going to be to, of course, get involved and get the community engaged and kind of educate them on litter awareness. That's going to be my first mission to accomplish. So that's one of the things I look forward to.
Outstanding. Well, I know you're going to do a good job because you have a communication background and you've already been involved in doing some things in our community. And you have a very special mother because she's my sorority sister, and we just we love that part. But not only that, you know, you're young and energetic and just ready to go. And so I know that some great things are going to happen, and we're looking forward to your leadership, and you need to know that we're out there to support you in any way that we can.
Thank you.
Yes. Wonderful. So during these last 20 years, I've had a wonderful opportunity to meet so many different people, a lot of people who are elected officials, a lot of people who are just plain people in the community, you know, a lot of school teachers and principals. It's just been a wonderful ride for me, and people who've served at the state level in very important positions. And so as I start to reflect on some of the things that have really been interesting and that I'm really proud of, a couple of them is the environmental court for Columbus. I know a lot of our viewing audience may not even know that we have an environmental court, but we started that in 2002. And the reason for having the environmental court was so that environmental cases would not be heard amongst murder cases and death cases and things like that. That if the attention or the judge there would really have the knowledge of environmental infractions, and that he'd be able to really kind of stick it to those people who are repeat offenders. And so it just really to bring some credit to, you know, environment. What are some of the things that you know that are infractions that people are doing?
Well, unsecured loads is one. You know, if you're throwing litter on the byways, if you get caught by the police, they can give you a citation, and you will have to go to environmental court. Not cleaning up your yard.
That's right.
Having junk in your yard, that kind of thing. There's several other ways that if you're dumping oil into the streets or into the stormwater system, that's another one.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can get serious trouble for those things, and that's what the environmental court's for, to help try to reduce some of those infractions that affect our environment. So.
Absolutely. And so for our viewing audience, if you see infractions, please call 311 And you don't have to give them your name or your number, but we just need for you all to report it, because it takes every one of us to make a difference in Columbus and to keep Columbus beautiful.
Absolutely.
Another one of the things that I'm really proud of is the memorial for our Vietnam vets that Lonnie Jackson helped us to spearhead, and Calvin Smyrie was able to get us the money to make it happen. We couldn't have done it without him. But Lonnie Jackson and Reverend Flakes Jr. Actually was the spearheader of really kind of the Keep Columbus Beautiful efforts, because they brought to the attention of council that there were communities that had Keep Columbus Beautiful affiliates, and that there was a lot of litter out. And Lonnie Jackson every year, he would go down to council and have all of the elected officials take an oath that they will not litter. They had to stand up and raise their hand. I promise I will not litter. And I'm telling you, he was so engaged in trying to make a difference. And Lonnie actually was one of the first African Americans that served on the Keep Columbus Beautiful board.
Yep, sure was.
Him and Stan Stovall,
yes,
they served together. And so Stan Stovall and I worked together to work with making sure that we had that memorial dedication, and that's over there right off of Buena Vista Road. So I'm real happy and pleased about that. And another one that really took a lot of effort was with John Flournoy and Sam Wellborn, when we were able to work with Muskogee County, Troup County, and Lee County to have 49 miles of I-185. I-185 to 85,
yes,
designated as a scenic byway. And so that means that that stretch of land will always stay in its natural state. There won't be billboards there. It'll be a beautiful, nice buffer. And as you know, when you're riding back and forth from Atlanta to and going and coming back, that when you hit that area and you just see the beauty, and especially in the fall, when you see all of those different fall colors.
Yes.
I know that you've traveled that highway before and just noticed that. So you're going to notice it now. You'll see those big blue signs that are where the magnolia is in the center, and so that is what's exciting too, to be able to work with people not only in our community, but people outside of our community to make things happen that's going to really impact our environment.
And I don't think a lot of people in Columbus know that section of highway was designated that way to keep it in its natural state. And that was a great project, and I'm glad we were able to do it together as a community. So,
and we really can't thank Sam Wellborn enough, because it could not have happened without him. He was serving as a chair.
That's right.
So there were a lot of other different things. You know, when we started out with the magic of recycling, we actually would have that down at the River Center.
Yes, we did.
And we would bus students in and then have a show. And it was so engaging. We have 2 different presenters for that show, as a matter of fact. But having those kids to look and be engaged, it was so much fun.
It is fun.
And that's the magic of recycling. And we really want you all to make sure that you're recycling. So if you don't have your recycling bin, call 311 and request one today. They'll make sure that you get one. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back and talk a little bit more about some of the things that have happened in the past and some of the things that's coming up in the future that you can be a part of. So stay tuned.
Hello, I'm Skip Henderson, the Mayor of Columbus. Did you know that litter has a negative impact on our community? Join me in becoming a leader against litter. Together we can create a cleaner, safer, and more beautiful Columbus, Georgia.
Hello, I'm William Kent. I'm a manager at Columbus Waterworks, but I'm also president of Keep Columbus Beautiful. Did you know that litter has a negative impact on our community? Join me in becoming a leader against litter. Together, we can create a safer and more beautiful Columbus.
Welcome back to CCG TV. I know you want to stay tuned because we got a lot of interesting things that we want to share with you. Again, you know, my guest here today is our new director for Keep Columbus Beautiful, and William Kent. And so we just want to talk about some of those things that we've done in the past, William. I know the very first project that you and I worked on together was the Help the Hooch.
Oh, mercy, Help the Hooch. It's been around for a long time, about 25, 26 years.
Right.
And I remember your first year, you were just absolutely astounded how big the event is.
Right.
And how much we've grown it over the years. We started out the first year with only 500 volunteers, and last year we had a little over 11,000.
Right.
Which is unbelievable and incredible for our community and for for the area, because we have Harris County involved. Of course, we have Fort Benning involved. But it is such a great event. In Phoenix City, it's a great event, and it brings so much awareness to the river and the creeks, and the fact that one of our biggest sources of pollution is litter. And it's the biggest source of non-point source of pollution is litter. And we need to keep going. We can't stop. Unfortunately, like I shared with council not long ago, that we don't get diminishing returns. You know, we're several hundred tons of trash every year that we pick up.
Right.
But I've had children over the years, or actually adults now over the years, who participated in the project, remember their first Help the Hooch. And it's unbelievable how much they've grown, and now it's shared with their children. And I guess that's the whole point. You have to build that culture and just keep going. So
we did, and I just remember that very first year when we had parents dropping off kids down on Front Avenue for us to babysit.
We sure
was like,
did.
oh no,
we
can't have this program like
did.
this. So what we did was we actually changed our registration requirements. We said that only adult supervised students could actually participate on our Saturday cleanup.
Yes.
They had to have adults with them because it was really such a liability there. I mean, you know, and I was like, wow. So that's when we started that second year. We started to get into schools.
The two major changes that I remember, one was the schools. We brought the schools in.
We brought the schools in.
That brought in a large number of participants, and that reached the children.
Because we were able to have them to collect litter or conduct their cleanup during the school day.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
So that really increased our numbers.
Yes.
And so, and then it really also increased the number of people who were coming to the Watershed Festival.
That's right. And the Watershed Festival was the other change.
Right.
Yeah, we made a change because after the event, we would feed the groups that went out and picked up litter, but they always ask, is this it? Is this all? And so we created an educational portion of the event to where they actually can come and talk to, like the Columbus Waterworks or whoever else wants to be. The Oxbow Meadows is there.
University of Georgia Corporate Extension.
Yes, to talk about what they do and how they can help protect the environment. And it really just kind of took off from there. And we really get a lot of folks that come to that portion as well. Anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000 people show up for that portion of the event, which is wonderful, absolutely wonderful, incredible. So.
And we're the only group that's in the state of Georgia that have a watershed festival after our cleanup.
I think so, yes. Yeah, we are the largest in the Southeast that I know of, that I've heard of.
So, you know, we had some fun and challenging experience, didn't we? And then also one of the things that we started doing was the grease and drug collection.
Yes, which is coming up again in January the 11th.
Wonderful.
We'll have our next grease and pharmaceutical recycling event going to be at the Big Lots parking lot and at the library. We'll be at 2 locations. Taking your used grease, because I know everybody's going to fry turkey over the holidays. Bring your spent grease. And then we have the sheriff's department there as one of our partners, helping collect the pharmaceuticals for proper disposal. So yes, that's another big event that we started. And that's that was what, 4, 5, 6 years ago we started that. I can't remember how long. So
absolutely. And you know, one of the things too that happened during my administration was the household hazardous waste.
Yes.
And we had the opportunity to work with the director of Public Works, Rufus Riggs, and the Mildred Miller Ford Foundation gave us $25,000, and so we had about almost $50,000, and we thought that we were, you know, we had plenty enough money, but the community showed up and showed out. Household hazardous waste. Our first event was right down in front of the Civic Center. We had that whole parking lot. And at the end of that period of time, we had so much waste that they had to bring in the grab-alls to take it away. And then we realized that we were really over budget about halfway through the timeline, and they had to call Rufus to get permission to continue on to the end of the timeline. And that was it was only 4 hours, but people were lined up at 6 and 7 before the crew could get in and get set up for household hazardous waste. And so it turned out to be a great program. We were able to divert a lot of household waste from our landfill, save the landfill, protect our land. It was really awesome. It actually started with Keep America Beautiful too. They were doing household hazardous waste events throughout different communities, and so we were able to start that program. And That's an awesome program, and it continues on today.
Yeah,
And now, you know what, the last one that they had, the cost that I know was like $85,000, so they're still collecting a lot of trash.
But that speaks volumes for our community, that they
It
have
does.
that kind of, you know, conscientious effort to come and bring it instead of just pouring it out and
That's
dispose of it
Yeah.
properly. So that
Absolutely.
speaks volumes for our community. So
It really does. And, you know, the shoe recycling campaign, we were always looking at ways where we could raise funds. Because, you know, a lot of people don't give to environmental efforts.
That's right.
But it's so important for you all who are viewing to make sure that you support organizations like Keep Columbus Beautiful. Make an annual donation of at least $25 to help the efforts to educate people. Because what we do know is that people do better when they know better. So if we can educate them and engage them, when they're engaged in it, usually they'll keep, you know, protecting and involvement in it. And so we need for you all to donate and be involved in Keep Columbus Beautiful. We had an opportunity to meet a lot of people through the community improvement programs, which started with Keep Columbus Beautiful also. Now, you know, it's more or less called, I think Mayor Henderson is saying, let's come together and talk with the mayor. No, Teresa started to talk with the mayor. However, the mayor was very involved years ago when I started in 1999. It was the community improvement program. The mayor and the city manager, they were involved, and they would bring out all of the department heads, and we would outline the communities that we were going in, and in the evenings, and invite them to come out to talk about what things are going on in their community, letting them know the resources of the city, because the people don't know a lot of the resources that the city offers, you know, until they have to go maybe 2 weeks without having a trash collection pickup or something like that. It won't impact them, but the city has some wonderful resources, and people in our community need to know. So it started before I actually came under the first director. It's only been 2 executive directors of Keep Columbus Beautiful, and now you're the 3rd one. But it started, that was Jessica Barrett. It started up under her leadership, but I think it was just maybe a year or 2 years that they were involved in it. And we've been able to keep it going, and you know, the names changed, but the concept is still the same. It's that those leaders in our community want to meet with people out there in the community to find out what issues that they have, and also to let them know, you know, the people who are in the city who are responsible for taking care of those resources that can help them. Yep. So that was a wonderful program that, you know, we started. That started at the national level, as did the environmental court. It started at the national level. And you know what, William? You know, when we start talking about litter, in doing some studies with the national level and the state level, you know, we found out that cigarette butts is the smallest, some of the smallest pieces of litter that we find. However, it's the most common.
Yes, it is.
And it hasn't gotten any better. You know, people are still smoking while they're driving, and people are still using our roadways as their ashtrays. So we actually received a grant from Keep America Beautiful to have a cigarette butt campaign, and we was like keeping those butts off the street. You know? So that's one thing that, you know, I know that you all will probably continue to make sure that people properly dispose of those cigarette butts. Because William, you brought to our attention that when those butts hit into our main source of water, our main watershed, which is the Chattahoochee River, it's a threat to the wildlife. Tell us about how.
It does not break down. Yeah, it is a plastic, you know, internally it is. And, you know, wildlife will mistake it for food.
That's
and
right.
actually ingest it, so it is not healthy for them. So
that's right. And not only that too, when it's really hot and dry and people thump those cigarette butts out the window, you know, it causes a lot of fires. You know, so it's just important. So if you're smoking, please do the right thing. Make sure that you put your butt out, your cigarette butt out, and then when you get to the next place where you can properly dispose of it, like maybe putting it in a trash can, then please make sure you do so.
And that's definitely something that we're looking into doing, the cigarette butt grant that KGB and KAB has with the providing the pocket ashtrays.
Yes.
So hopefully we can get those into the community, and maybe instead of holding on to them and possibly not flicking them out the window, you can hold on to it and put it into your pocket ashtray.
That's right.
And then dispose of them when you get out of the vehicles. So that's definitely something we're going
And
to
it's good. And you know what? It's always good to serve as a reminder.
Yeah.
You know, because people aren't going to stop smoking. But we want them to do the right thing.
With their butt.
And so, you know, the more education that we can get and give to the community at large will help to impact. You know, as we're thinking about this show, and it's being my last opportunity to have the show, I really do thank Isaiah Hughley, the city manager, because it was during the cigarette butt time that when we earned a grant from the national, that I went to Isaiah and I said, we really do need an opportunity to be on television, to talk to the community at large about our problems with litter. And I asked him could we have a spot on CCG TV, and he said yes, and he introduced me to Mike King, and it has just been a wonderful journey talking and working with Mike. And every time I called him, regardless as to what it was about, you know, he was always there. And when we would go on site to places like Oxbow Meadows and be on site for our annual awards luncheon, which is so important, and I know that you all are going to keep going on with that, because it's important for us to take time out of and say thank you to the people who are engaged, who are doing the right thing, and who are educating our kids to do the right thing. So our annual awards luncheon is so that we'll be able to at least pat those people on the back and recognize them for the efforts that they have given to help us keep our community beautiful. And so Mike has always been there. We'll start the show right on set, and then we'll end it on set, and then he'll also show the recipients receiving their awards. This has just been a wonderful time for me. And I just want this community to know that I appreciate all of the help that you all have given me throughout these 20 years as director for Keep Columbus Beautiful. All of the commissioners that volunteered to help out, you know, we could not have done it without you all. Several, you know, up until 4 years ago, 25 people who were appointed to our board was my boss. I thank each and every last one of you all for bringing your talents and your resources to the Keep Columbus Beautiful Commission. And now as we get ready to pass the torch on to Ms. Johnson, you know, we want to make sure that she have what she needs, so we need for you to continually to support her too. So we're going to be right back, and she's going to share some special things with you all.
Hello, I am Mimi Woodson. Did you know that litter has a negative impact in our community? Join me in becoming a leader against litter. Together we can create a cleaner, safer, and more beautiful Columbus.
Hello, I'm Bridget Downs with Columbus State University. Did you know that litter has a negative impact on our community? Join me in becoming a leader against litter. Together we can create a cleaner, safer, and more beautiful Columbus.
Oh, wow, Gloria, we are going to miss you so much. You are completely irreplaceable in this community. Your experience is so vast, you are so knowledgeable, and have ever so many contacts in our city and across the South. It will be impossible to replicate. Your cheerful countenance, optimism, steadfast efforts, and devotion to making our community a better place to live and work are absolutely unique to Gloria. Working with you on the Keep Columbus Beautiful board has been both educational and rewarding. Thanks so much for the memories.
Welcome back to Earth Notes with our final farewell to Miss Gloria and her longtime joy that she's brought to Keep Columbus Beautiful. And I just want to ask her a few questions and get some knowledge from her and just let her say her last final notes on here on Earth Notes. So Miss Gloria, just want to know, now that you've retired, what is one of your goals that you plan to achieve, that you get rest, and what's one of those goals?
I am finally learning how to sleep late. And I still want to be engaged in the community, but I thank God for giving me the energy and the strength and the longevity to be able to retire. Right. And like I said, it has been a roller coaster and a wonderful ride with a lot of highs and some lows, you know, when you don't get the support that you need. And so what I would like to encourage you is to make sure you develop good relationships out in the community, and you have some people in every sector of the community that you can call on for different things, because those people will be able to reach within their community to pull some things together for you. You know, so I'm learning how to sleep late. I have already been overloaded with a lot of family things since October the 1st, but I started out with a wonderful cruise and enjoyed every bit of that. And I'm thankful to God that He allowed me to get to this portion of my life.
And we're not letting her go. I've brought her onto the nonprofit board with us. There's a nonprofit board that deals with the fundraising for KCBC. And Gloria is on that board with me because I'm the current president. And I'm not going to let all her knowledge and talent go just yet. So she is not leaving us. So she's going to stay with us to help guide some of the projects that we have going on and make sure that we continue on the direction that we've been going on. So.
Right, and I'm also going to work with Dr. Billy Kendall, who has really served as the chairperson for our awards luncheon for I can't remember how many times. It was probably 15 years or more. You know, but so we'll be working with him.
So would you say the networking is definitely something, of course, that's important with KCB? And you talked a little bit about the lows. What would you say at least two or some of those major lows would be for KCB, and how did you handle kind of just keeping it going?
Well, when you really want to make a difference, and you know, Litterist, the top of it's right at the head of what you're going to be working to try and eliminate.
Right.
And it's hard because you're constantly pushing the same thing, and it seems like people aren't getting the message. You know, I passed today on my way down here. Someone had put the trash out in my community, but they did not make sure that it was secured. So trash is all along the roadways and it's blowing. And so what happens is that people are using trash bags now a lot for the garbage instead of a container, making sure that it's secured. And so if rodents, dogs come out and they turn over the trash can and they go through it, then those people don't feel like it's their responsibility to pick up that trash and put it back in the container so that it can be picked up. But when the trash people come by to pick it up, they're going to pick up what's in containers. You know, and so that's one of the lows, and I hope that you all would be able to look into a project where we can have it required that you put your trash in a bin and not in a trash bag, because plastic is really dangerous to our environment too. So then if they can put it in a bin, that will help a whole lot with our trash, and then they put it out too early too. You know, sometimes they put it out a whole week before the trash day, and so it's an eyesore, and then it becomes
education. Providing the education to the community, and just telling what's the best way to put your trash on the right of way.
Absolutely,
definitely.
Yeah. So that's one of the lows now. So I would say one of the highs is having board members who are like William Kent, who are like Dr. Downs, who are like Karen Henderson, and so many other members, and even Stacy Porterchef, who was a mayor's wife who served on our board. And I can't stand Stovall, you know, people who are not afraid to take on leadership positions to really make a difference, and then to take their responsibility seriously. Because when you say that you're going to volunteer and do something, it's important for you to show up when you need to be there. And so it's important to make sure that your volunteers, your appointed commissioners are engaged. So try and get them involved in being a leader in your projects. And sometimes, you know, you might have to push, you might have to pull, you might have to encourage, but that's okay. You just know that that's what your role is to do, to get them engaged. And then they'll be able to reach out in the community to engage someone else.
Definitely. So we talked a little bit about the board. Mr. William, can you give a description or like a goal you have for the board moving forth with this new transition in directors?
Well, as with any nonprofit board, one of the biggest things we always deal with is, of course, fundraising. I want to make sure that we continue on the path that we've been going on to make sure we stay in the black, you know, for one, and make sure that our projects are funded. And if we want to do more or different projects, you know, how do we promote those? How do we get funding and backing for those? I'd like to see us continue growing. I think we've done a great job as a leadership group and as a commission. You have some great commissioners, you really do. And I was very proud to serve on the commission as chair for the term when I was on there, and to be with that group of individuals, because they're all very dedicated to the community. They are. And the group that we have that works with us on the nonprofit board are just as dedicated. And you know, we have people like Karen Henderson. She's on that board with me. They take their responsibilities very seriously. And I think as a board, we can make some very good changes, and believe me, we're here to support you. You know, that's our job.
That's right.
And believe me, like Gloria says, you have some folks around you that know what to do and know how to do it, and you can get it done.
Absolutely.
So all you got to do is call. So.
And you know, one other thing too is that, you know, a lot of times our commissioners will serve up to 4 years, and then they'll rotate off for 1 year, and then they can be reappointed. So you want to also make sure that you have some people who are seasoned, you know, who can come in and just make things happen. I know Beverly Kenner helped us to start our tour of gardens. We actually had started it before, but she was she worked with University of Georgia Corporate Extension Office and to Master Gardener.
Yes.
And so she actually came in and started to help us by taking a leadership role and going out finding people to come in and allow their garden to be on our tour. And so there, a lot of times people don't think of 2 different boards for Keep Columbus Beautiful. Right. So the board that you're working with now is the one that is going to be the commissioners that are appointed by City Council, and you'll have 25. And then William actually is chairing right now the board that is helping to see if we can make sure we can have some funds to kind of help you stay afloat.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. So that's definitely something that I've noticed about KCB. We have to build those networks, and I'm looking forward to working with the community and hopefully getting you all engaged. And the first step we're going to take is with our young people. We're going to start service leadership projects, and we're hoping that you can get involved. It's not just schools, it's organizations. So if you have a small organization in your church or your neighborhood, we are welcome those youth to get involved in those servant leadership projects that we'll have. So that's going to be something we look forward to, those networking opportunities there. And just a little bit about the projects, but before we talk about the projects, we want to make sure we ask Ms. Gloria what her vision is for KCB as she'll still be continuing with us on the board. What is your vision for KCB?
So my vision is for you to have a wonderful, successful opportunity, and that you will be able to engage and implement new programs that really, really touch base with a lot of different people out in our community. You know, social media now is so important, and those young minds, you all are already engaged in that. And so, you know, making that difference, you know, making sure too that one of the things that would be wonderful is that if we had recycling in all of our parks in Columbus, the Columbus Consolidated Government Parks, that would be great, and trying to help work through planning and implementing that. We've tried a couple of times, but we've not been real successful, so that could be something that you all could work towards, and just continue on the efforts, bringing new things, you know, up.
So with that, make sure you follow us on social media. We'll be implementing, like she said, some new social media campaigns, and a new website will roll out so you guys can get informed on the great efforts that we talked about here and learn a little bit more about how not only you can get involved in KCB, but how you can donate and continue to fund KCB to be able to do these great things that Ms. Gloria started and that I will continue, and Mr. William and the board will thrive to make sure that we're keeping Columbus beautiful. And we just want to tell Ms. Gloria, thank you so much for all your hard work and your dedication and your wonderful spirit. Ms. Gloria is not just keeping Columbus beautiful, but she's keeping all the spirits around her beautiful. And I've known her when I did help the hooch, and I just know she was very passionate about that litter and making sure you knew what you were putting into the earth. So I just want to make sure she knows what she's put into us, and not only us, into the community. So we just want to tell you thank you for all your work.
Well, thank you. And I thank God. I thank God that He created the earth and the fullness thereof before He created us. Yes. And He created us, and then we created pollution. Yeah. And we need to be the solution to the pollution that we created.
Hashtag
so
that.
God, thank you for no, that's right. Yeah, make sure you hashtag that. Yeah. So thank God for the opportunity, because He just gave us what we needed to have life.
Yeah.
and we're destroying the things that we need to have life. But
Yeah.
we really do need to be a champion behind every cause that you bring up.
From the board and
Yes,
from the
sir.
commission, thank you for all the years of service. From me personally, thank you for the friendship, and thank you for everything that we've been able to do together. And I will forever, ever love you.
I love you too.
And you need me, you know where I'm at. So.
Oh, thank you so much. It has been a joy to work with you because
And I had to just stick my head in
Oh!
there too, because I want to say, over the years when we started doing what we were doing on CCG TV, you were one of the first one that really put us on the map, that made us look like real television. We weren't just a little sleepy program that people turned away from. People turned to,
that's so sweet.
thank you, thank you, thank you, on behalf of CCG TV. And let's not forget Bruce in the inside. Bruce was one of the meteorologists here in this area.
Yes.
He was a known star, and he decided to go in the background. But he's done a wonderful job. for us.
Outstanding. He really have. You are welcome, Bruce.
So-
you know we love you.
We could not have let this program go another day on our channel without having you back to say thank you and pass the torch on to this beautiful young lady here. And we're so glad to have you, and you're going to do great things, and we're
Yes,
looking
I look
forward to the
forward to
programs we're going to do.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Great,
Okay?
great.
So I'm going to let you sign us off.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in to this segment of Earth Notes. I look forward to educating you on so much more, and make sure you follow us on social media. We'll make sure to give you that, and you just stay tuned for all the projects, and we hope to see you at those projects. And this is it. We'll see you next time.
Great.